What's going on, girl?
Hi, how are you? I'm so excited to see you and for us to be connected today.
Girl, it's been a week. Last week was a week. I was so glad that I got to see you in person though, because ever since I got here to Virginia, I've been like, man, it's nice here, but I miss being in such close proximity to you. So it was good. So refreshing to see you last week.
You too, like you are such a inspiration and a motivator. Like after our connection last week, I felt like, okay, I can get this. I can figure out what I'm trying to do. Let's go. And it's so inspiring to realize the people that you are connected with, how much they give you value and motivation to keep going. So be intentional with that with the people you're with.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. I mean, you said you got so much debt, but I came back home. I promise you, I'm like, I want to be a better mom. Like you were saying, how you read to your kids every night. I used to read to my kids every night. But ever since like I started building this empire, some of those small things that, I used to love and the kids used to love, I haven't been doing as much of. And so you just sort of reminded me of how simple it is to incorporate those while still living our busy lifestyle. I hadn't seen it done since I'd been an entrepreneur. And so to see you do it so effortlessly is just like, man, that's my girl. I love her.
Oh, and I'm always like, oh my gosh, I feel like that mommy guilt is so real. And it's so funny that, for us to have our call today in our podcast, we're talking about goals and we're talking about what we want to see for 2023 and how we want to do better. And one thing I always do for my entrepreneur, my business, is I always write goals. But I have never wrote a goal up until this year about family and what I want to see with my family, and even having a goal about my mental space of like what I really want to do. And so this year, I really wrote that down and made sure that this is something that I truly want to make sure that I do.
Man, because we got to be intentional about those things. Because, like I said, if you don't, it kind of gets pushed over to the back. So, while we're talking about just goals, I know everybody has like New Year's resolutions, at the beginning of the year. I don't know that I necessarily have New Year's resolutions, but I do have some very attainable goals that I would like to accomplish this year. But my goals in the grand scheme of things seem very large, and so I like to break those goals down to smaller goals, into like monthly goals, into like weekly action steps, so that every day I know that I'm taking small action to those larger goals. And so, speaking of goals, one of the goals that I have here is to raise capital. That has been at the forefront of my mind for probably the last 2 months. And the reason why is because one of the things that has, um, I would say, kind of limited my ability to scale is the lack of capital resources. And so, in just learning about the different pots of cash that people have just sitting, collecting dust, I think about what are some that not only can I myself, but what are some I can also help other people in the area that might be hurt is their retirement. A lot of people that we know are, they're in that mindset of when I turn 65, I'm going to retire. But a lot of them are like, I don't know if I'm even going to have money to be able to retire. Give that counts or not, giving a very large interest. And so knowing that people can invest in real estate, invest some of their dollars that are sitting in real estate, are earning double digit returns, this can fast track their retirement savings. But then also it put me in a position and my team in a position where we're able to purchase more assets. And so that's one of the main focuses that this year is going to consist of. And I'm excited about it. I'm excited about the relationships that I'm making and that I'm going to make. I'm excited about the way that we're going to be able to scale. And I'm just excited about how I'm going to be able to impact the lives of those around me. And so, yeah, Deba, what are you looking forward to next year?
Before I even talk about what I'm looking forward to, I absolutely love this goal. And I'll tell you why, because a lot of people want to get into real estate investing. They have a 9 to 5, they have this money. And a lot of the real estate investing that we talk about is like really in the business of you have to do rehabs, you have to be involved with every day to day situation when it comes to real estate. But with what you're doing is more or less like you can be pretty passive if you can put up the money. We have the crew, we have the team that are going to be literally with the feet on the ground, making sure that they do get their return. And it's just the beauty of real estate. You don't have to be fully hands-on it unless you want to. But with what you're doing, you are actually creating more opportunities for every day-to-day regular people that, hey, they desire to do more. And you're able to be like, okay, I'll do all the work. You just put in your capital, and you don't have to put a lot of capital, but they're still able to get a return. And I think everyone deep down inside, they love the idea of making money in their sleep. But really, what does that look like? And really, what does that ideally make sense to be? But you are creating this opportunity in this avenue that they can do that and make money in their sleep, and they can choose how involved they want to be. That's
Exactly.
beautiful.
Exactly. And I mean, like for instance, this weekend I met a guy on the airplane, and he's a fix and flipper. He's been fixing and flipping for several years now, but he's getting up in age, and he's kind of wanting to not flip anymore, right? So after talking, and I mentioned that I'm capital, he was just excited to be able to use his money that he already has to invest in somebody else's project, because he's thinking that he doesn't want to have to do projects. He really doesn't want to have to be listing properties on the MLS. Like, he just really doesn't want to. And if he can take his capital and make it more passive, then that's the route that he'd prefer to go. And I just wonder how many other people who have been in this game for a long time are kind of just ready to, like, they're not ready to get out of real estate yet, but they're just ready to get out of the business in that sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Because flipping is a job. Like he's at a point that he's like, okay, if I buy another property, I know I'm going to have to go through this, that, and the other. It's a job. And when you say, okay, I'm not going to do my 9 to 5 and I'm just going to be a full time flipper, you just transition from one job to the next job. And with what you're doing, it's going to allow him to be, I'm still involved with real estate. I understand the numbers, I understand the jargon, but somebody else is being the hands on, dealing with the contractors, dealing with the day to day. And I just sit back and truly enjoy life. And one thing that I know people love is freedom. And you are going to unlock freedom for him.
Yes, yes, absolutely, Deba, absolutely. And not only unlock freedom for him, but unlock freedom for myself and for for around me. One thing that I've had to learn to embrace in this field is to hone in on those that you are good at, to hide those around experts in the things that they're good at. And so, ever since I was younger, I've always been good at bringing people together, people from different diverse backgrounds for a common goal, right? And so, knowing that that's one of my skill sets, knowing that giving presentations is one of my skill sets, I know that I'm going to be able to dominate at
Mhm.
that's something that I know that I'm going to be able to dominate. But I'm going to need people who are in acquisitions who are experts. I need people who are experts at property. I need people. I need people around me who are experts in those other areas that, yes, I know about, but expert, but heck no, right? Let me focus on that. Let me focus on bringing while everybody else
Yes.
on what they love.
I love that. I love that. So in Texas, we usually call that you the plug. If you want to figure out what to do, how to get it done, you call Talisa. She knows somebody that knows somebody. She's the plug. She's the one that puts everything together. She's like that middle person that knows how to connect what you need to do. So I love it. Like I absolutely love it. You have to keep track, keep us up to date with how that is progressing. I mean, we want to be right there to support you and just kind of see how is this working, because this is another avenue. Again, we talk about real estate and tons of real estate strategies on this podcast. So listeners, if you're listening to this is something that's like piques your interest. Please reach out to us. We would love to connect you and see how you can join this real estate love of freedom with just real estate investing.
Yes, yes, heck yeah, y'all. There's a plethora of avenues in real estate. You just got to find the area that the area that works best for you. So I'm excited, but I'm also excited to hear what you have. Deb. I always learn so much from. So what do you have? What-
It's something that normally I already know exactly what I'm trying to do for the next coming year. I'm very type A of like, I have to get a goal and then I just literally push through and I execute and figure that goal out. This year has been quite different for me, of me leading up to 2023, figuring out what I want to do. I think I'm in a place of everything that I ultimately wanted to do like 5 years ago, of like, this is where I want to see my life. This is where I want to be able to just, figure out what my day looks like based on what I choose to have. I've been able to create that and it blows my mind. And every day I literally pinch myself and like, this is my life. But I do feel like I have grind so much in these last years that I'm at a point where I'm like, I still want to grind, but I need to grind in a better way. And I need to grind in a way that I have true balance and not that I'm constantly working 7 days a week. My phone rings, I'm immediately picking it up no matter where I'm at, with who I'm with. And I want to create boundaries and balance. And that's for my real estate business, with my mentorship, and even with like my rentals. And I need to spend time balancing. And that's hard for me because I'm very executor. Like, there's a need, let's get it done and let's move on. But literally listening to my body, one thing I haven't really been doing is really taking time to take care of me, meaning like just go walk around the mall, just go to the spa, just go get a massage, or don't wait till your nails break before you have to literally go because you just don't want to be walking. Like, spending time to love on me, because that helps build that value, that helps build that, hey, I trust me, I love me, and I'm more important than making sure all these other things work.
Oh,
And that is my ultimate goal for 2023, is just balance. I just want to have true balance where I can say no to things. I don't want to do everything and I don't want to work with everybody, and I'm okay with that. But I have to be strong enough and disciplined enough to realize you don't need all that. Like, you really don't. Make it simple, make it literally stupid simple, and
right.
you choose the time and the freedom that you want to have.
Whew, girl. And when you talk about just taking care of you, just yesterday, I kind of felt guilty, Deborah, because it's Sunday. I have much prep to do for Monday. But all I really wanted to do, I had come in from out of town. All I really wanted to do was clean up my house, right? Clean,
Mhm.
shave my legs and under. You know,
Right, right, right.
he twists my hair, and I literally spent the whole day doing stuff for me. And I feel good today. My hair is twisted. I'm shaved. My hair is my house.
But that's important though. And I think sometimes we overlook that, because really the last 3 months I've been dealing with a lot with my husband with his back issue. He had back surgery recently, and we have just been going back and forth where it was at a point he couldn't even walk. And it was really, I guess I wouldn't say hard, but it made me realize that I do a lot of grind. Like, yes, I'm a millionaire. Yes, I got all these stuff done. But when you land in that bed and the money doesn't matter, it doesn't matter how many doors you have. It is really your health that all that matters. And so looking at that, I don't want to grind myself so bad that I'm in a hospital bed because I just kept plowing through the pain, plowing through everything, and just realizing like it's a marathon and I'm a sprinter naturally. So I'm just going. And I had a moment to think, what is all this for? Like, what, once you get to the goals that you ultimately wanted to be, then it's okay to just like pat yourself on the back, realize that, and chill for a little bit. And then, like, pray, get back into your meditation, figure out, okay, God, you've called me to this far. I know there's still more you want me to do. What is that? And wait to hear God give you the next level that you need to go to.
Oh, that is so good because I feel like a lot of the we will to a point in our lives, our careers, where we feel, and we talked about this, where we just start to feel comfortable, right? We get to that point where it's like everything that we've prayed for happens. Um, life is life is good, but then there's about that comfortability that inside it kind of makes it a little sad. It kind
Yeah.
of anxiety because you feel like, wait, what's next? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I've accomplished all my goals. Like, what's next? And I started to feel like that as I was exiting the school district because, coming from a family where we didn't really have a whole, my mom, the lights would get cut off at times. We didn't have a whole lot. So my only goal was I just want to make $100,000, right? I just want to make $100,000. So that was my goal for so many years. And so when I finally made it to there and I looked around, I said, "This is it." Like, there's got to be more. Like, there's got to be more. Got to be more life. There's got to be more. This cannot be it. And so we start to have that feeling of anxiety, which pushes
Mhm.
us to discover what else we might be interested in. And
Yes.
that self discovery process, that's where new ideas are birthed, new
Yes.
is born. And so I to highlight when you said that because I want to be able to recognize what it's like when they're also experiencing it.
That is so true. And as you were talking, the first thing that was coming to my mind was social media. Don't get caught up in the social media world of when you feel like these are the goals that you saw for yourself. You're at that point, like, okay, I'm actually crushing these goals. I'm, being able to check these goals off. But then you see someone else doing something very similar to what you're doing, and they're doing on a granular scale, and they're doing all these things. And then I've had to check myself and be like, oh, I really need to be doing that. Well, let me try to change my goals right now to do that. And then I'll see somebody else. I'm like, they're doing that. And it wasn't until I think you and I had talked, and I was like, when you were like, what do you really want? And I shared, I was like, I just really want to just chill. I just want to be able to go into Neiman Marcus and no one even knows who I am. Like I want to just be able to just walk around, give abundantly, and they don't even know who I am, what I'm about, to give anonymously. And then when I walk away, people are like, you don't know who that person is. Like she's like this, that, and that's the type of person I want to be. And I think you have to know who you are, what you're trying to do, so that when something like that comes up, when you're scrolling on social media and you're like, oh, I think I should be doing that, you go back and realign it to the goals. Is that really what I want to do, or is that something cool, or is that what is really the intention?
Right,
Yeah.
right. And that, yeah, you nailed it. Knowing who you are and knowing what you want. And that's difficult because we've been told so long from society, who we are, what
Mhm.
we're aspiring to do. That sometimes we lose track of like what we actually like. And so that process alone is a self discovery. And you
Mhm.
are going through, one thing like I thought 8,000 keys. I do not.
No, like no.
you know, but you have to kind of go through some stuff. You've got to experience some of those things for you to be like, oh, you know what? I think I'll pass on that. I thought I wanted that, but I don't think that's for me, right? Uh,
Yes.
that's perfectly fine. That is perfectly fine. Go through that self discovery process and figure out what it is that you really love. Is it hanging out with your family? Is it going on family vacations multiple times out of the year? Is it
Yeah.
camping? Like what is it that gives you fulfillment? And make sure that whatever you're doing is in alignment with that.
Yes.
8,000 minutes is not going to give you the ability able to go camping with your family multiple times a year because you need a very strong Wi-Fi connection to connect
Right.
people on a day to day, and maybe that's not going to be in with what you want, right?
Right. Oh, that is so true. That is so, and really, like listeners, as you're listening to this, I really want you to focus on who do you want to be? Who do you envision yourself being in 5 years? Not who you think your family thinks you need to be, but who you deep down inside, God has already given you that, has already given you just little snippets of where He sees you going. Tap into that because He's going to open all the doors. He's going to connect you with the right people. He's going to make sure that you have the resources, you have the funds, and it's not going to be on your timing. It's going to be on His timing. And then all you can do is go back and say, that was nothing but God. When people are like, oh my gosh, how did you do that? You're just like, it was God. And I'm just like standing in this little spot, and God's just guiding you and opening up these doors. And you're just like, I don't know how I got here, but I know who gave it to me. And I just trust Him. And because I think sometimes, especially with real estate and being a Black woman in the real estate investing world, it's really hard to navigate because you're really trying to force yourself at tables that people are thinking that you're not adequate enough, you don't have the credibility. But once you know who you are, you're not seeking those tables. Hell, you start creating your own damn tables when
Like,
you get to that point, and just really know that you were designed for this time, for you to step it into whatever God has called you to be.
yeah, man, that's so deep. Our friend Shalise, she posted something the other day, and she was amongst of people. Hopefully she doesn't mind me sharing this, but she was amongst a group of people, and she said something, and it was along the line of, "I walk around," and please nobody get offended by this comment. I as if I am a white man. I walk around as I'm entitled to certain things. I walk around with my head up and my back straight. I walk around as if I'm going to get the opportunity that I set my because I know that I just have that power. And she got a lot of criticism behind that comment, but mainly behind the comment of I walk around like a white male. And I want to talk about that because I feel like a lot of the time, like Deborah was saying, being female, being black, sometimes we walk around in our truest power because we don't feel like we belong in these spaces. We do have that imposter syndrome, but
Mhm.
something else can walk into a room regardless of who is in the room, and you can make your stance because, like Deborah said, we are the I'm sorry, not sorry. We
Right.
are the table. We do bring the resources, bring the mindset, the ideas. We bring a lot to the table, and so when I show, I'm going to show up touch in my English class, and I think that's everybody to kind of tap into. Don't allow what society is successful or who society says is successful allow you to downplay what role you play in the society because we have a whole lot more power than what I feel like we exhibit on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. And it's so great that you mentioned that because I think we all deal with those internal struggles of and the quote that I always tell myself whenever I'm dealing with that internal struggle, like, oh, I'm not supposed to buy that, or no, I'm not supposed to go to that event. That's not for people like me. And I catch myself always going back to, it's not who you think you are, it's who you think you're not that holds you back.
Mm.
And so a lot of the things that, like Shalice mentioned, these are things that we tell ourselves in our head. And maybe there are some society traits that confirm those things, but it's the limiting beliefs that hold us back. It's what we feel truly about ourselves that hold us back. But if you walk into the table, you walk into those business meetings and you know your stuff and you bring it, no one is going to think, oh, she's a Black woman, she can't do it, or she hasn't done this enough. No one's going to think that. They're going to be like, oh, I need to get connected with her. And I don't know if you feel the same way, Tilisa, but since I have gotten from education to real estate, I really don't see race in real estate. All I see is green, and all I see is what is the ROI, what is the cash on cash return. You don't really see race. You just see what's the deal, what does it look like, can we all make this happen, and that's it.
You are, I promise you, I thought I was the only one that experiencing that. There, people don't care in this. And
Mhm.
I don't know if it's entrepreneurship or state or whatever it is, but people don't care. I think I actually get more respect as a real estate investor than I did as a school district director of accounting.
Yes.
People value what I say. People want to include themselves in what I have going on. People value my opinion. People reach out to me so that I can help analyze their deals. And this is white, black, Asian, this is everybody, you
It's
know,
everybody.
male, female. So you're exactly right. In this business, racism is not as it's just not as in your face as it was in the corporate world.
Yes, absolutely. And again, we do know racism is out there. We know that. But I think there's a level of, I'm not going to put so much energy in that. I'm going to put more energy in myself of what I bring to the table. And if racism does play, I shouldn't be at that table anyways. I'll move on to be at another table that they're going to accept me for who I am. And I'm going to still get my ROI. I'm going to still get my cash flow.
Exactly. Because at the end of the day, in this business, it's like, as long as the numbers make sense, as
That's
long
it.
as everybody gets to make money,
Yes,
what are we?
absolutely.
What's there is no problem. Everybody gets to, and
Yeah.
um, so yeah, that's something big. Another one of my goals for this year is just to really be more connected with my immediate family. My husband, my kids, and that may be involving them in the things that I do on a day to day, whether that's cooking dinner or whether that's putting away laundry or whether that's even going to a meetup. My daughter's 17, she can go to some of those meetups and just kind of be there and observe. But I feel like this year I was so focused on the business that I excluded them from so much. And
Mhm.
it's been a great year of learning and really what mom does on a day to day. And so I'm just going to be a little bit more intentional about that. Yeah, because there are reasons why I'm doing all of this. Even when I was out in Dallas this past week, I was making tons of phone calls, had a lot of great meetings, had a lot of great things happen. But at the end of the day, my husband and my kids weren't there, so I didn't enjoy the way that I would have had with me.
Right,
Uh,
right. That is beautiful.
yeah, so
Yeah. And it's funny you mentioned that because the first thing I think about of like getting your kids involved, when I was growing up, my both of my parents were entrepreneurs. And so I used to hate going to their jobs and helping them. I used to hate when my dad would be like, "Can you count this money? Can you make sure this is done?" I remember he got his first rental property and I was in college, and he would always call me and say, "Can you post this on Craigslist because I need a new tenant?" And I'd be like, "Oh my gosh, I do not have time for this. Like I want to do something else." And I remember doing it. And now, fast forward, that those little things and those little droplets have now helped me have that courage and have that confidence and be like, well, I remember seeing my parents do it. So it was natural. And it was something that was like, you're supposed to do it because you already saw it. And so you just know that you are showing your kids what it is to be a boss and showing your kids what discipline looks like and what consistency looks like. So even if they get a 9 to 5 or whatever they get, you are showing them those droplets of being a strong person in this world.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're absolutely, you're absolutely, right. And I can attest because I told you, my mom, my family, we didn't come from a wealthy background at all. And so one of the things I wanted to instill in my kids just the value of control, managing their money right, controlling. And so now when I just look at my, year old and how, she'll get paid from Target, her check will be like $800. She'll take $50 of it, and that's what she'll spend for the next 2 weeks. And she
Wow.
very disciplined with her money. And even though I wasn't like in her face, like, only spend this amount and put this amount away, just her observing how myself and her dad could manage money, it just filtered right to her without really, a whole lot of thought. And so like now people in my family are like, oh my God, Talisa, she manages money, just like you, and she's so good with her money. I'm just like, oh man, I guess that kind of did just kind of.
Yes. Oh man, that is beautiful. And that's going to be take her for life. So she won't be in situations, the up and down roller coasters of like, okay, let me hurry up and save for this because she's already doing it naturally.
She's already doing it naturally.
Yes. Okay, so let's do a quick game of what are we going to let go from 2022 and what are we going to embrace in 2023?
Hmm. One thing that I am going to let go um, is hiring people or bringing people on my team without how do I say this? I only want people on my team that are experts in the areas that I need them to be, and hiring anybody that is mediocre or maybe not as experienced in the area that I need them to be. I'm going to be putting those relationships aside and focusing on those who can really help me grow my business.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And what will you embrace in 2023?
Partnership.
I like that.
23, I will embrace partnerships.
Okay. I love that. I love that.
Yeah. And the reason why I say embrace partnerships is because one of the biggest things that I've realized over the years is I can only do so much on my own, right,
Mhm.
and um, but if I have a team, it's vital that I have the right people on. And so this year is really going to be about, like I said earlier, leveraging other in their field and bring them together for a goal. And so I'll be very intentional about the people that I bring in my circle. I'll be intentional about the way that I interview people, about the questions that I ask, about the time that I allow myself to get to know somebody before allowing them to come on my team. Just this year, I really want to really build a strong foundation, because I feel like if I build that strong foundation now, it all the years after this are going to be that much easier. But I just got to take the intentionality to do it right this year.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Like you just spoke my language because that's what I'm doing for 2023 is literally embracing the fact of taking my time slow to really rebuild and get the right people. Because I just don't need bodies. I need the right people that can truly leverage themselves and not just work with me, but take ownership with me.
Yes.
Like they own their stuff, they're experts in their world, they are passionate about it because there's a different level of work, there's a different level of intentionality with those type of people. So being very intentional, oh my gosh, like that is like and I rather go slow than fast and be very intentional with who I do bring around the culture and my team, because I don't want them to come in and mess up the culture that I've been working so hard to create.
Right.
Yeah, yeah,
When
yeah.
you said like somebody who ownership, like, you know, this year, and not to say wrong with it, but I feel like a lot of own energy into just getting my team, getting them trained, getting them to understand the culture, getting them to understand what my goal is, what my mission for, for investment. And I feel like I was constantly having to remind people of
Yes.
what this is. And so just finding understand, you know, I explained it to you one time and you're like, I get it. Like I know where I fit in, versus having somebody that I constantly have to reiterate,
Yes.
where
Yes. Yes. Oh my gosh, that sounds so good. And I will say one thing that I'm going to let go in 2022 is lukewarm.
mm,
Like, let me explain when I mean lukewarm. Lukewarm is like we're kind of cool, but we're not really sure. It's a kind of awkward if we see each other. There's an elephant in the room, but nobody want to talk. I'm letting that go when it comes to my work life, when it comes to my relationships, be that family, be that friends, be whatever. I am letting that go because I have wasted so much energy on, well, I don't know. Are we cool? Are we not? Like, I feel like we are, but then there was this one time this happened, but I just don't. I'm letting it go to the point that I'm probably going to change my number because I have so much going on with my business. And if you don't get that new number, you know where you stand. And if you reach out to me and you're not able to get me, you just don't have that access to me. And I'm okay with that. And I've had to learn my value and my credibility of like whoever is truly connected with me, like I'm powerful. I am great at what I do. I love hard. The loyalty is real. If there's something that you finna tap in and you say you want to go in business with, I'm gonna jump in there with you. I'm gonna connect you with the people that I know because I want you to grow too. I know I give that. And I know I'm a great friend and I know I'm a great partner to work with. But I refuse to just work with people because they feel like they have to work with me. I'm not making anyone do anything they don't want to do. I'm not going to force relationships. I'm not going to force partnership because I know what I bring to the table. And I'm done with the lukewarm. I am
mm,
totally done with the lukewarm. And it feels so good, empowering when someone does reach out to me that is in that lukewarm bubble. And I'm like, no, I ain't trying to do that. No, I'm sorry. Or I'm like, and I'm not picking up the phone. I'm good with that because even if it's like I only have 2 or 3 strong relationships, those are quality, strong relationships. And having 10 that are like, I don't know. I mean, we can go here, but I don't, they're going to say something that's going to trigger me. I'm gonna let that go because it's not worth it. Your health is your wealth and your life is short. And just with one simple thing, life can do a total 100 and just or 360. And I don't want to be in a place where I'm on my bed in the hospital and I have regrets with running with lukewarm people when I had this strong friend that was like, I got you, let's do this, let's run. But I was too busy chasing lukewarm. So I'm letting it go.
woo, lukewarm. Man, I hope that you guys heard that. Deba's letting go of lukewarm. How many of us have those individuals in our lives that we know are lukewarm? Yeah, we might be able to chop it up with them and, get a couple laughs, but at the end of the day, there's no real substance in conversation. At the end of the day, they might be quick to talk about something else. Like, I mean, we have to take all of those things into consideration when we're talking about the people that we want to allow in our circle this year. So, Deba, I'm going to go ahead and adopt that one too. So I'm
Yes.
letting go of lukewarm. And I think I've already pretty much let go of a lot of people, but then there's still those little stragglers out
Yes, yes. And
there.
it's kind of like I look at it like when if I buy a new outfit or something, I usually will throw away or donate an outfit that's been sitting in my closet. That's kind of the same way with relationships. Like, hey, I love the fact that we were together for this season. It helped me grow, it helped you grow. We saw value in each other, but it's okay to know that that season may have kind of already dismissed, and we're okay with that. If I see you, I'm gonna speak, I'm gonna be cool, but I'm not seeking or chasing things that I know like that's we're done. We're done. You know it.
Exactly. You know it. I know it. Come on now.
Right, right. But we still trying to force something that we like, man, like
Yeah,
no.
I can, and not say that there's any, bad intention or bad
Right.
because we love y'all. Like
Yeah.
even those of you who are in that lukewarm category, we love y'all.
Yeah.
We but we've gotta gear our focus towards the things that are going to yield change and yield profit. It's,
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, I think one word that continues to come up to my mind is transformation.
ooh,
Like, I don't want to just change. I want to have transformation where you're like, I knew what God blessed me with these gifts, and I did not sit on them. I literally was like, God, you blessed me with this. I'm going to share this with as many people as possible that care, that want to know what I'm doing, that want that I can pour into them. Because at the end of my life, I want to be able to say, God, I gave everything you gave me. And I shared it, I gave it because I want to see transformation not only in me, but in others around me.
man, who that's so good. That's good. And you know what? Another thing before I ask you, what you're going to embrace this year. Another thing that I want to just kind of just throw out there is that um, there are going to be people who say that they want your help, or they say that they want to do what it is that you're doing. And sometimes this may be close family, this may be friends. We have to know how to identify those people who, when we pour into them, they're actually going to take the information and they're going to apply the information, versus those that we're going to tell the information and then they're going to sit on it. And then in a couple months, they'll come back and ask us for the same information again. We have to be very, very mindful of those that we decide to pour in so that what is the saying? Uh, Cast your pearls at the swines, right?
Right.
You know, we have intellect, we have
Yeah.
knowledge that can truly change people's lives for the better. But we don't waste that on individuals who may not be ready to take action, or those who are going to take the information and misuse it.
Right.
I just kind of throw that out there because when you said that, that we are here, we want to share the gifts that God has given us to help more people. That is specific to the people who actually want the help. You
Right. Right. Right.
know,
And that's why I created an online course.
there we go.
That is why I created an online course because I know me and I know like if you want to sit at the table and you want to get this information, I'm gonna pour everything I have in you because my intention is thinking you're ready to execute, you're ready to do this. And when I first started like teaching, I used to do a bunch of one-on-ones. And then I would take on the burden of like, well, why aren't they doing this? Like, why aren't I just gave them everything and I just poured all this time into them and they just still sitting around like, oh, I didn't get a chance to analyze any deals, or oh, I didn't get a chance. You didn't get a chance. Like when I say yes to you, I'm saying no to me. No. So I created my online course and I will love on you and I will do everything on that online course. But I can't have you take my time.
No,
Especially if you're not really sure if you really want to do this or anything like I my time is too precious. It just I can't give you my time anymore.
I just can't, and I can't feel bad about it. But what I will do, Deba, here is my course link,
Yes.
family, friend.
Yes.
You want to know how I'm doing it? Here's my course link, the
Yes.
on there. And if you want this information, then it's accessible to you, but
Yes.
being able to call my phone and have me explain these things to you, I already put
I already put in the course. I've already put in the course. And I have people that will be like, okay, I'm going to buy the course in a week or so. Okay, cool. No big deal. Whenever you buy, you buy. No big deal. And then it'll be like a month later, hey, you got a second to chat? I want to have a question about something. And big shots out to my husband because he is very like, I am who I am. You like it or not, you just take it or leave it. Where I'm more like, if someone is like in my circle or my friends and maybe they haven't taken the course and they shoot me a text like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this property, do you mind analyzing it? I remember we were in the hospital and I got a text from somebody and they were like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this property, blah blah blah, what do you think? And I literally just sat there and just mustered like, I really don't want to respond because you should have took this course. You told me you were going to take it. You ain't take it. Now I'm going to take some time out of my time while I'm in the hospital with my husband to tell you if it's a good deal or not. And like my husband saw me like going back and forth in my own mind. And he was like, what are you doing? Like, are you okay? And I'm like, okay, I got this issue. I don't know how to handle it. He said, don't respond. I was like, that's it? And he was like, yeah, just don't respond. You ain't got time for that. And they'll figure it out with your no response. Just don't respond. And I know that sounds so easy and it's like so practical. But that gave me so much life after that, that he literally just gave me permission to be like, you choose who you want to respond to and just don't respond.
it's simple, right?
Oh my gosh.
It's
Oh my. And I spent so much time, like literally 5 minutes in my head, like, I don't really want to respond. I really would want to say, it's just probably better if you take my course. But I don't want to do that because I don't want to push like I'm selling something to you.
right.
But when my husband was like, just don't respond. If they really want to know, they're going to take your course and they'll have access to talk to you.
I mean,
Yeah.
Deba, it's literally as simple as that. And I had to learn, all my I moved, to Virginia.
Yes.
But even though I talk about it on the podcast, though, I'm still a very private person. You know what I mean? And so, there's been certain individuals, family members that have reached out and, haven't said anything to me, haven't commented on no post, haven't liked anything in my inbox. Did you move to Virginia? Are you in Virginia? And hi there. How are you?
Yes.
How's the husband? Haven't heard from you in a few years. Like,
Yes. Yes.
I just kind of sat there like, dang, do I respond? Do I respond? And I'm just like, no, I just don't respond.
You don't respond.
I just
Yeah.
don't respond.
You respond. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
guess what? I'm still here. I'm
You're
like
still here.
with an arm, like
Yes.
happy. I haven't got cursed out. Like we're good.
Yes, yeah. And I hope listeners, you're listening to us kind of talk about how we are going to make that transformation for 2023 and things that we used to just like muster over. We're just like, we're just not going to do it because you only live one life and you are only responsible for you and not responsible for everyone else that you feel like you got to carry on this journey. We're all adults and you choose who you want to give access to. And I think I guess the overall arching word is it's up to you and you owe it to yourself to be the best version of you. Damn what other people think, damn what other people expect. You owe it to yourself because you don't want to be in the hospital. And I guess I just kind of go back to that because of my husband. You don't want to be in the hospital having regrets that you spent all this time and that you had making sure other people were okay and making sure other people were taken care of and then downplaying you and putting yourself on the back burner for other people. And those other people, they won't even show up to the hospital to check on you. They'll send you a text message when they initially saw you in the hospital, but then you won't hear from them for anything. No one's sending you dinner. No one's checking on your kids. It's not worth it.
It's not. It's
So you
not.
got air in your breath today and you doing things for other people. I really, really encourage you to take a time to reflect because at the end of the day, all you got is yourself. All you have is the very close knit family because those are the ones that's going to change and those are the only ones that's going to make a change when you are in those situations. Do it for them. All that other stuff and all those other people, it does not matter.
It don't. It really doesn't, you guys. And you guys have seen it before. Somebody has a heart attack, or, God forbid, somebody commits suicide because they just couldn't handle it. You are literally you're an RIP on everybody's timeline.
And that's it. That's
That's
it. Yeah. That's it. I mean, and we worry, so we spend so much time worrying about, well, if I post this, what are they gonna think? They're only gonna think about you for that 1 second. You're not that sweet. You're not always on people's mind.
You're not. You're not. People are, at our natural order, very selfish beings,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
It takes somebody, to really set themselves apart to actually care about other people. But the majority of people care about themselves and themselves alone.
That's it.
So, anyways, while we're on that note, Deba, what are you going to be embracing this year, 2023?
I'm going to be embracing love and light.
Ooh.
Like, I really just want, if I see a need or I see someone that needs something, I'm not going to hesitate. I'm just going to go with that because I feel like that's the Holy Spirit saying, go and be the hands and feet of God. So
Mm.
I really want to be love and light. I realize that everyone is fighting some type of battle. Sometimes they share it, sometimes they don't. So I think it's up to us to be the ones to just love on people. That's just smiling at my day-to-day neighbor. That's just me being in the grocery store and really asking, how are you? And truly wanting to know how you're doing. And I think the other thing is I want to appreciate people. I
Mm.
really want to take time to tell people, man, you didn't have to do that, but I really appreciate it. That really meant a lot to me that you took the time to check on us. You took the time to do something because I think we assume and take those things for granted. And I just want to appreciate people, like give people their flowers before they're gone.
Ooh, girl.
Yeah.
Man, man, Deborah, that's good. That is
Yeah.
good. Love, appreciate, and just to show gratitude.
Yeah.
Those of you who don't know, if you can, the universe will give you all of that
Yes.
love, more appreciation, more gratitude. The more that you give it, the more that you receive it. So,
Yeah.
Deborah, that's good because I think a lot of people say that money is probably one of the four what their goals is for the new year: money and losing weight. And for you to say no, love, it's showing love, showing appreciation. Uh,
Yeah.
Kind of just speaks to the kind of person that you are, which everybody already knows. You know what I mean?
You're
But
so sweet. And
yeah.
I will say this about money. That's the low hanging fruit. I'm gonna tell you like that. Most people that want to be entrepreneurs, they want to get in real estate investing, they want to make all this money. That's low hanging fruit. Because once you make the money, you're like, oh, well, I mean, if I could go buy it, I could go buy it. But there's more to it. Like when God gives you abundance, it's not for you to keep it. It is for you to push it out and give to other people. And one thing that one of my rentals right now that I was able to connect with, like a homeless program here in Dallas, and they're looking for landlords that are willing to place homeless people going through domestic violence or whatever they have going on. And I was talking to like the director of it, and she was like, well, they have initiative to try to place 250 homes, people in 250 homes just in this month of January. And I was like, wow. I said, well, how are y'all doing that? She said, well, honestly, it's just kind of word of mouth of what we can do because a lot of landlords don't want, homeless or people that have felons and things in their background in these homes. And so I was like, well, you know what? I have a couple of these homes coming up. I want to be intentional and I want to place anybody that you have. I don't care what their background is. I don't care. I want to place them in my homes because my ultimate goal when I created Douglas Dwellings is to change the communities one house at a time. So if I can partner with Dallas County and say, you know what? I don't care what season you are in, you deserve the best house, the best rehab, you have the best landlord. I'm going to do that because why not? Like God has blessed us with abundance. So let's give it back to people that really need it.
Oh goodness, Deborah, can you tell the audience what is the program called again?
Yes, it's called Gateway Family, and it's with Dallas County. If you want to, they're actually, I'm working with Dallas County, but if you reach out to them and you're not in Dallas County, they will let you know their sister or partners in other counties that are going through the same program, because there must be a huge initiative for Texas where they are putting money into these programs, and they will cover the application fee, the deposit, and like up to 6 to 12 months of rent. So
Right.
again, it's guaranteed income. It's a lot better than Section 8, I think. And you're actually able to help families. Like the person that I'm going to be placing in one of my rentals, she's a single mom, has 3 kids, and she's just trying to figure life out. And I'm like, I want you to figure life out in one of my homes, because I pray over every home and I want to love on you. And I just want to be able to give you an opportunity to change the trajectory for your kids.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so did you guys get that? It's called Gateway Family. And
Hmm.
not in Dallas, Texas. They could possibly have a sister company in your area. So if you're a landlord, look into it. If you are a potential tenant looking for a place, if that's you, look into these organizations.
Yes.
Resources out here. There's no reason why anybody should be struggling. There,
None.
wow.
None. None. This was such a great podcast. Oh my God. I feel like I'm hugging you in air. Right?
Oh, this was so good. This was so good. Well, as always, you guys, thank you so much for continuing to tap into the Keys to Success podcast. This is something that Deba and I we really enjoy doing, giving back to you guys. So always, always, always leave your comments. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, like, and just tell us what else you guys want to listen to. We are all ears. So have an amazing, amazing week and start writing your goals down for this year and focus on you. Focus on how you are going to take care of you. So, Debbie, any last words that you want to give to the audience?
It's already in you. Just tap in. It's already in you.
It's already in you. Okay. All right, you guys. We will see you next. Bye.
Bye.
I'm going to cut this part out.
You just leave studio.
Are you able to do it on your end? Are you able to? Yeah.
Let me see. I think I can just leave the studio.